Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Barking Dog. We got a few things to talk about that. We are going to change the name. I bought a domain, and we're going to switch it up a little bit and go to the Uncaged Dog. I own uncageddog.com. Um, and I am working on actually doing a podcast radio show right now. I'm setting up the server, and we're going to go from there. It's a something in progress. But anyways, today we're talking about the Ravens versus the Browns. It's in Cleveland, and a lot of people around the internet they're really not giving the Cleveland Browns a fair shot. They're actually saying that the Ravens are going to win between by 3 points to 7 points, and some are even saying 10 to 12 points. And I think that's insane. And I'm going to go over why I think that's insane. And if we get some good coaching in this game, I think the Browns are going to win. And I'm going to go on saying that right now, the Browns are going to win. But the first thing I want to talk about is when Hugh Jackson now has come out and said that he's going to rest Garrett and keep him for the end of the games. I think that's a mistake. I don't think the game should be that close in certain games should not be that close that we need to have Garrett 100% at the end of the game, and keeping him out is not going to get him in that rhythm. I don't think he's being gassed. I think he was more disappointed in last week, and it's an overtime game. You do not play games to keep your players out so they're fresh for overtime. I think that Garrett is a different animal. He does not get tired. I don't see him slowing up at the end of the game. Sure, after the game, he is tired. Everyone is tired. But I think that last week, a lot of people are pointing that they was sitting on the field on his helmet. That was disappointment. That was not him being exhausted. So I honestly think that Garrett is an every down defensive end. He plays well against the run. He is an insane rusher. I mean, he's unblockable, guys. He's just totally unblockable. I have not seen anyone this year handle Garrett. Yes, he has not got the sacks. He's in the top 5 of sack leaders this year, but he's not getting the incredible sacks for someone saying he's unblockable. But if you watch it, he is causing other things to happen. He's making the QB move. He's making the QB round out a different way. He's making runners go away. He's catching runners from behind. Garrett, in my opinion, from these first 4 games, is showing me he's the best defensive end in the league. Now, someone's going to say he doesn't have the sacks. He doesn't have the sacks. Defensive ends are not graded just on sacks. Garrett is just a freak. So I do not agree with resting him. Maybe give him a few snaps off, but I don't think he needs it. We just need to stop him and prevent these mistakes like the turnovers last week. If it wasn't for the turnovers, we would have won that game and it would have been over. It wouldn't have been an issue. Anyways, I'm going to go back on what Hugh Jackson is saying again, where he's saying that Nick Chubb needs to get in the game more. I've been saying that for 4 weeks. I think Nick Chubb sees the field better than Hyde. I do love Hyde. I think Hyde is a great back. He's not a top 5 back in the league. He's only getting, let me see here, he's only getting 3.43 yards a carry. And we'll talk about the running backs a little bit more in depth. But Hugh Jackson is saying that he needs to give Chubb more snaps. In my opinion, I think it's time for Hyde to sit down, Chubb to start. Chubb is just a better all-around back. He sees the field different. There's just something about his vision that Hyde doesn't have. You see it when he runs. In the 10 carries of the season and in the preseason, Chubb just sees the field different, and I think that Hugh Jackson has it right. He needs to get more snaps. I think he should be starting. But anyways, let's talk about the Cleveland Browns offense. A lot of people are saying that they don't have the offense. I'm here to say they have one of the best offenses in the league right now with Baker Mayfield under center. And the numbers do not lie. Baker Mayfield and company are averaging 21 points a half. That's 42 points a game. Since Baker Mayfield has been injected as the starter and the second half of the other game, he has averaged 21 points a half. That's insane. That's just insane. Yes, he did have that small run with the Raider game where he was doing some 3-and-outs and stuff. That happens. It happens to every quarterback. Tom Brady does not go down and score every drive. Tom Brady has 3-and-outs. Peyton Manning had 3-and-outs. Drew Brees has 3-and-outs. Brett Favre's had 3-and-outs. It happens. 21 points a half. Now, do I think he's going to carry that over and keep doing that? That's going to be insane if he does. I don't think it's going to happen. But he's creating points, guys. Everyone's like, well, this ain't happening. Yes, the defense has helped. The defense has set them up in really good positions with them 11 turnovers. But we're going to get into that a little bit later on how Baker Mayfield has transformed this offense. Okay? So now the Ravens defense is what it is. The Ravens defense has come elite again. They become elite. Their offense is not elite. Their defense is elite. Their defense is better than some people are even giving them credit for. They're ranked, fourth overall in defense? Yeah, they're ranked fourth overall. I do say, though, that they do have a weak point. I think it's against the rush. I think Baker Mayfield's going to have a little bit of trouble reading the blitz packages with the Ravens. But I don't think it's going to hamper him any. I just think he's going to scramble a little bit different. He's going to have to get a feel for that game. I think Nick Chubb is our go-to guy in this game. I honestly do. I think Nick Chubb running the ball is going to open up a lot of things. I think we should just pound that rock, and that's where Hyde comes in too. We have a 1-2 punch, but the number one should be Chubb. Now, we're going to go ahead, and I want to talk about something else that someone brought up to me personally on Twitter and messaged me and says Baker is the next Drew Brees. I don't believe that. I think Baker is the first Baker Mayfield. I think Baker is a different animal than even Drew Brees. And Drew Brees has said this. I think, and then someone else told, I read on Twitter saying that the defensive coordinator for the Ravens says he's a Brett Favre. I don't think he's a Brett Favre. Brett Favre was a gun slinger. Brett Favre was an interception machine. Baker Mayfield is not. Yes, he threw 2 interceptions last week. It happens. But he's not an interception machine. He is more accurate than Brett Favre ever dreamed of being. So I think that the Baker Mayfield is a total different animal than we've ever seen. He's just pinpoint accuracy. He's very intelligent. He's already showing that he can read defenses. He's already getting his wide receivers set and being in the right spot. Our problem is our wide receivers do not have timing with them yet. And I'm hoping that is corrected this week and we see it in this game. If our wide receivers start catching that ball and stop dropping 10 freaking drops, that's insane. What do you do? Baker Mayfield's ball is a little bit different than Tyrod's and anyone else we've had. And with Landry is different with Tannehill. When they turn around from a button hook or a slant and they look for the ball's there. They're not looking for the ball and the ball's still in the hand of the quarterback. They're not looking for the ball and it's just leaving the quarterback. The ball is there. Baker Mayfield makes very quick decisions. His release is very, very fast. And once that timing gets down, it's going to be a very dangerous defense. And I'm going to talk about the wide receivers I have some concern about. But Baker Mayfield, again, we go back to him and saying, hey, he's changing this offense. One man gets injected into this offense that was nothing before him and is now exploded. Now, I want to talk about that a little bit. The Browns' offense is only ranked 19th, but the first 2.5 games plays a big part since Baker Mayfield's only played a game and a half. So Baker Mayfield's Browns, if you do the rundown, is ranked in the top 10. I was trying to figure it out, and I gave up. It was a lot of numbers to figure out. They're in the top 10. I want to say they're in the top 5. The Baker Mayfield scoring is, I think, number 3. maybe even number one. I didn't, like I said, I started doing a lot of numbers and going back to quarters, trying to make it legit. But they're one of the better offenses with Baker Mayfield in there. Now, with Tyrod Taylor in there, we were one of the worst offenses in the league, period. And we jumped in a game and a half up to 19. That shit says a lot. Now, we're going up against the 12th offense. The Ravens' running game is not as good as we faced, but we do struggle against the run. And I'm not sure why. We do have the linebackers for it, and we do have the defensive line for it. I think it's kind of a fluke with last week's game and week one. So I'm hoping it levels out this week. I'm hoping. Against the pass, we do have the injuries in our secondary. I'm hoping that it can step up. Flacco's on a kind of like a, I don't want to say a hot streak, but he stepped up compared to what he was last year. Randall and Ward, I love where they're at. A lot of people are saying move Ward to cornerback, or not Ward, I'm sorry, Ward to quarterback. Ward is a quarterback. Randall over to cornerback. I don't think that's right. I think you play Randall where he's at. That's where he's been making the most impact. You do not take one of your biggest impact defensive players and move them because you need somebody, because you'll make a bigger hole where he's at. I don't think we have anyone that plays to the level of safety. Peppers is not it. I don't think Peppers is that great of a safety at all. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. But anyways, I want to talk about Taylor and Baker Mayfield just for a minute. I want to tell you guys the differences here. And I got some numbers I've written down, and I want to tell you guys, and maybe you guys can comment below and tell me what you guys are thinking. Taylor had 10 quarters. Mayfield had 6. Here's the numbers. Taylor had 462 yards. Mayfield had 496. Now, a lot of people are going to sit there and say, well, Baker had an overtime. So did Taylor, and Taylor had the whole overtime. If you break that down in the quarters, here's where it's really insane. Taylor averaged 46.2 yards a quarter. Baker Mayfield is averaging 82.6 yards a quarter. That's insane. Both have 2 INTs, but I'm talking about yardage and moving the ball. Baker's moving the chains. Now we're going to go ahead and talk about rating. Baker Mayfield has an 81.25 QB rating, while Taylor has a 63.69 rating. Night and day. It should be flip-flopped if Taylor got hurt and we put a rookie in, but it's not. Baker Mayfield's showing that he can make them quick decisions. Baker Mayfield has 64 attempts and 38 completions, while Taylor had 84 attempts with 41 completions. So Taylor only has 3 more completions, but threw the ball 20 more times. Now, Taylor did have his wide receivers dropping balls. I will say that. We all seen it. So has Baker Mayfield. And it was Hugh Jackson come out and said 10 drops. So can you imagine you had 10 completions? This is from the last game, 10 completions, 64, and it'd be 48. But still, Baker Mayfield's got 60%, 59.6 or something like that percent, 59% to the 48%. Total different ball game, total different realm. Baker Mayfield dominates Taylor in that aspect. Yards per attempt, 5.5 for Taylor. That's a good running back. Baker, 7.75. I kind of want to get that up. I would like to see that around the 9s for Baker Mayfield, and I think we're going to start seeing that. I honestly do. Once them drops stop happening, his yards per attempt is going to go up. It's them drops hurting him. Now, I do want to talk about this huge number here, and we're going to be talking about sacks. Taylor in 10 quarters was sacked 13 times. Baker Mayfield, 3. That is insane. Now, some people are going to say, well, Taylor played 4 more quarters. You can do the math. It's just huge. Baker Mayfield's lost 24 yards to sacks. Taylor lost 81 yards to sacks. Right there's a huge number. And what that's telling me is Baker Mayfield's making the decisions quicker. He's seeing the field better, and his release is a lot faster. And that's pretty bad for someone that says, Hey, Mayfield's short. He's seeing the field better. So now we're going to go into running backs and why I think Chubb should go ahead and get the nod to be our starter. Hyde is only averaging 3.43, while Chubb's is inflated to 14.6 because of his only 10 carries. He's got 146 yards. Johnson is kind of the one I'm worried about. He's only got 12 carries for 3.3 yards. He's our change of pace back. He usually averages more per attempt, but he's only got 12 attempts. Hyde has 83. That 3.43 is not cutting it. And I think that is actually hurting Mayfield a little bit. I think putting Chubb in, I think Chubb's good for around 4.5 to 5 yards a carry, in my opinion. By the end of the year, if he gets thrown in, he'll be around that 4.5 yard average. He sees the field different. The line's not blocking any different. You can watch Hyde and Chubb, and the line's not blocking different. It's just Chubb sees the field different. Now, Hyde does have a knack to get in the end zone. We get down to the one. He does get in. He has 5 touchdowns in 4 games. That is amazing. But I don't think we'd lose that with Chubb. I honestly don't think Chubb would have any drop-off. The big ticket that I'm seeing in this whole game is our receiving corps. Now, a lot of people are going to talk about us losing Gordon. Gordon's gone. Who cares? He's New England. Landry is a great catcher, but he's had some serious big drops, and he's one of the ones that stepped up and says, I need to fix this. Landry's had some big drops. Njoku's had some big drops. The surprise here, and I think he has a couple drops himself, is Higgins. I honestly think Higgins should take over for Callaway. I think Higgins and Baker Mayfield have a connection. When Baker Mayfield came in, he finds Higgins. Higgins is actually our second leading wide receiver. He has 13 catches for 178 with a 13.69 average. Yes, Callaway does have a higher average because he is a burner. And I think that Callaway should be put in for burner, to be a burner only, or in the slot. I know this makes a lot of people upset because the slot receiver should have good hands, but I honestly think Callaway should work on his hands and be our slot guy right now. Because we really don't have anyone else unless we put Johnson there. And that's where I think we should put Johnson. I've said it in the past. Maybe bump Callaway down and put Johnson in the slot and say, Johnson, you're going to be a wide receiver. You're going to line up at wide receiver. You'll still be used as running back, but we're going to put you in here. Them trick plays would work a lot better with Johnson back there doing them cross them, whatever they want to call it. When the wide receiver and the running back cross, having Johnson line up in the slot would really open that up, in my opinion, because Johnson is good with space. Hyde is irrelevant in it, but I honestly think Higgins is really undervalued for this team. He's really come up big with some really big catches, and I think he should get the 2 spot. I honestly do. A lot of people I've talked to on Twitter says I'm wrong, that Higgins is not that good. Guys, I honestly think that he's very, very underrated. And Njoku's got to step up in that red zone. We have a tight end with that much size, that much power. We should be going to him 50 to 60% of the time when we're in the red zone. Period. It shouldn't matter who lines up on him. No linebacker can cover him. You're going to have to put a safety or a corner on him, and then he's bigger than them. He can muscle it. So I don't understand what Hugh Jackson's doing. I don't know if it has to do with Njoku's drops, which would make sense. He's got to get better with them hands. With that, I mean, he should be a red zone threat. Njoku should be getting 10 to 15 touchdowns this year, period, with the way that Baker Mayfield's moving this offense. I want to talk about Ward and Randall. I honestly think that they are going to be our heart and soul of our secondary. And I think that we just are one piece away from having a very, 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 very good secondary. I think the injuries are going to hurt us a little bit, but it's not going to hurt us as bad. It would have been worse if Ward got, hurt. Ward and Randall, what pickups? I mean, what a pick, and for the first round for the Browns. and getting Randall. I have no clue why Green Bay. I'm in Green Bay. I live in Green Bay. I have no clue what they were thinking. I still don't know. Randall has been amazing. And I know he's talked about a lot, but I don't think everyone knows his leadership quality that he's done on this defense. Now, I want to talk about Peppers a little bit. And this has nothing to do with what he said. What he said is what he said. He's only getting 50% of the snaps. 50%. And he's not making a name for himself. Once in a while, he'll stop a run. Once in a while, he'll be in a tackle. But he's not making a name for himself. He's not showing that he was first-round quality. In coverage, he's okay. I don't like it. I don't like that he's when we have a strong safety, that strong safety should be making a name for himself with our front seven. Our front seven are amazing. A lot of people are talking really big things for our defensive line. Our strong safety, I honestly think we're a strong safety away from this being an elite defense. And I think the numbers are a little bit bloated because the team is kind of gelling still. And if the 42 points, or what was 45 points, was it 40? Now I forgot what the Raiders game was. I've been talking so much. But the Raiders game kind of bloated our score. Our defense is better than what it shows. Our defense is a lot better than what it shows. And our defense is ranked 23rd. I honestly think that yardage isn't it and points ain't it. We got to look a little deeper. Our turnovers are excellent. We go after the ball now. We're a totally different team. We lead the league in turnovers. This defense is great. We do have the number one rushing offense in the league, and it's another reason why I think we're going to, lean on that a little bit. My prediction for this game, I think the Browns win this game 27-21, and I don't even think it's going to be a worry. I think the Browns take control after the first quarter. They get their roll going, and it's just going to be the Ravens always trying to play catch up, and the defense finally clicks. This is a really good game to show our dominance. This is a game to step up. The Ravens are 3-1. We're 1-2-1. With this win, we get to 50%. I honestly think this is the game that we come out of our shell. It's that game that Baker Mayfield starts feeling more uncomfortable, and it's insane to even say that. It's the game that the defense starts really clicking, and again, it's insane to even say that. We don't have a lot of injuries except for in our secondary. We don't have a lot of injuries coming in. I honestly am going to go on record saying it's going to be 27-21, somewhere around there. I don't think it's going to be anything that's going to be a big shootout like last week. I don't see that happening. And I think that it's going to be Nick Chubb Day. I don't think it's going to be Baker Mayfield Day. I think it's going to be Nick Chubb Day. I think Nick Chubb's going to really show that he's going to take the carries that he gets. I don't even think he's going to start. I think he's going to take the carries that he gets, and he's going to take Hyde's job. He's going to show, just like basically what Baker Mayfield did when Taylor got injured. He came in, and there's no way to give it back. But it's this time it's going to be Hyde sitting, Chubb coming in and taking the job. He's going to say, this is how you do it. And there's nothing against Hyde. I love Hyde. I just think that Chubb is a better running back for this style of offense. I think Chubb's going to make Baker Mayfield better. People are not going to be able to stack the box because Baker Mayfield's going to make them not, because Baker Mayfield's throws are so accurate. He thinks before he knows where he's going to throw the ball to every single receiver before he even does his read. He's like, that's my second read. I'm going to throw the ball here. He just knows. He just knows what he's going to do. And you see the confidence. I'm going to say he's in confidence. There's no one out there better than him. He does not worry. He shakes things off. He's always laughing. He's taking control of the huddle. This Browns offense is not ranked 19 with Baker Mayfield. They're a top 10 offense with Baker Mayfield. I'll say that all day. Also, this defense is not 23rd or whatever they say they are. they're better than that. They're better than their numbers are showing right now. And I believe they're a top 10 defense. And we're going to start seeing it as the season goes on, that this Browns defense is going to get more dominant. It's just, how do you block that defensive line? How do you do it? They disrupt a lot of stuff. They disrupt everything that can happen. If you go back and you talk to Breeze, you talk to Carr, they'll say they disrupt everything. You got to watch both sides, the weak and the strong side. You just don't know where it's coming from. I do like that Williams is pushing the blitz. I like that we blitz a lot. I like that we're taking chances on defense. I honestly think this Browns football team is a 7 to 8 win football team. And that's not because of lack of talent. I think they're gelling right now. I think this is the turnaround. And Baker Mayfield was that final piece to make the turnaround start. Nothing against Taylor. Taylor is a great guy. He just wasn't moving the offense. And now when Baker Mayfield goes on that field, and we know the offense, we're looking for touchdowns, not hoping to get a first down. We're looking for touchdowns. And guys, 42 points, 21 points last week from Baker Mayfield and company. This offense is different, and that's why we got it. We got to give them the respect. You got to give them they're not the weak offense that people are saying they are. They are dropping balls and they're scoring 42. They're dropping balls and still moving the chains. So when it starts clicking, guys, this offense could be a top 10 offense. I believe the defense is a top 10 defense. I think more goes into it than yards, the turnovers, everything else. So that's it, guys. This went a little bit longer than I wanted to do. I hope you guys like it. I am going to start doing reviews. If I get the radio station going, I'm going to do my picks on everything, on every game. I'm going to throw out my picks. I'm hoping that goes in the next 2 weeks. And then the radio show is going to continue through the off season. It's something that I enjoy doing. I love the Cleveland Browns. I am a Cleveland Browns nut. Like literally, I am glued to this TV 100% of the game. I don't leave. I've been a Browns fan since I've been yay big. And I honestly feel that this is the year. I think this is the year that we're going to see the turn. We're going to see it. It's not like the Derek Anderson year. It's not like that. We're seeing the future, guys. Guys, I'm going to go on record saying this. Chubb, if he gets his opportunities, like I don't like Hugh Jackson. Hugh Jackson says, I honestly think that he pushes for offensive rookie player of the year. No joke. I think Chubb is that type of talent. Now, if Baker Mayfield shines like he continues shining, he's going to probably – quarterbacks always get looked at more. And, of course, the other quarterbacks. But I think Chubb is going to be in the talk. Okay? He's going to be in that talk. Now, think about that. If we have 2 offensive rookies in the talk for Rookie of the Year, and then we got Ward that's going to be in the talk for Defensive Rookie of the Year, they're all taken in the same year. I think we got the front office that did it. I think that we got the front office that's taken us in the right direction. I don't want to get into Hugh Jackson, so we're not going to talk about that much. But next week, we got the preview for next week's game coming up, and we're going to do the reaction video right after the game. So right after the Browns game, the Browns-Ravens game, tune in here. We do a reaction video. I load it up right away. You guys actually get to see what I feel. That's the way. I'm not going to write stuff down. I'm not going to sit there and calm down if I'm mad or nothing like that. We're going to do a reaction video like it's supposed to be. So you guys stay awesome. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button. If you like what you see, hit the subscribe button and make sure you hit the bell so you're notified when I do something new. All right, guys, I'm out.